I'm Scott Hansen. I'm a professor at Southern Utah University, and this module of SolidWorks will include instruction on how to edit parts that are in a current assembly. We will use the piston case and the piston assembly from the last several modules. So if you have that saved, we'll need to open that up. If we move our cursor up to the little yellow folder, left click on Open, left click on Assembly 1, however you saved it, and left click on Open. And I'm going to left click on Don't Rebuild right now because we're going to do that here as part of this module. So as you look at our assembly, you notice that there is some serious part interference occurring between the piston and the crankshaft. And one quick way to alleviate that is to lengthen the connecting rod. So I'm going to move my cursor out into the work area, left click one time, and what we're going to do is edit the parts while here in the assembly. Now if I wanted, I could go back and open the connecting rod up as a single part where it was created and left click and edit the sketch that has the dimension that contains the distance between the two holes. Or I can do all that here in the assembly. If I had it open in the part area, it would update automatically. If I changed it in the part area, it would update here automatically. So I'm going to move my cursor over the connecting rod. I'm going to left click one time, then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to left click on Edit Sketch. It's going to turn off everything else. We're back basically in the sketch area. The yellow shows that this sketch already has been extruded into a solid. I'm going to move my cursor down to the 2.25 dimension. I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to enter 4.75 and hit enter. Then I'll hit the green check mark. Then I'm going to right click, exit sketch, and then right click again, and this time I'm going to left click on Edit Assembly : Assembly 1. This basically gets us out of the Edit Assembly area. Left click on that, and now SolidWorks has lengthened the rod considerably, so now we do not have any part interference as we had before. And I'm going to left click out in the work area. I'm going to push the mouse wheel down, rotate the part around so I get back access to the back side of the crankshaft. And the extrusion distance of this crankshaft pin needs to be lengthened so that it actually protrudes through the piston case. So I'm going to move my cursor right onto that feature, the crankshaft pin. I'm going to left click once, then I'm just going to move my cursor up here to the Edit Feature, left click on Edit Feature, and SolidWorks is just going to bring that up like we're just creating the crankshaft for the first time. And I'm going to enter 2, and it will stick through the crankshaft quite a distance, which is okay. Left click on the green check mark, and we still need to edit out of the editing area, so I'm going to right click and left click on Edit Assembly : Assembly 1. That gets us out of the editing area. And so now the connecting rod doesn't interfere with anything, and if you push the mouse wheel down, the crankshaft pin goes clear through the piston case. So I'm going to come up here and save it. Hit Save As, and we get this error message that says Rebuild. Basically it's saying, the length of the connecting rod is different than when it was originally designed, and the piston or the crankshaft pin that protrudes through the case is different than when it was originally designed. So we're going to left click on Rebuild and Save Document. If we were to go back and open the crankshaft, this is an error message about all the components are going to be updated. Say yes, we want to do that. If we went back and opened up the crankshaft right now, it would not have the distance of 2.25 that it did before. It would have the 4.75 that we entered here in the assembly. So now that it's saved, we need to zoom in as close as possible while still keeping everything on the screen, and we're going to add a rotary motor. And so we'll go up, actually we can start here at the bottom with the Motion Study tab, left click on Motion Study tab, and then left click on Expand Motion Manager if it already hasn't, and we'll get something that looks like this. The first thing we'll do is left click on the little yellow barrel. This is a motor. Left click on the motor, push the mouse wheel down, and left click on the crankshaft that we extended the extrusion distance on. Left click one time, and then left click on the green check mark. Then we'll left click on Calculate Motion Study, and SolidWorks will provide some animation for that, play a little fun music. And then there's several things that we can do here. We can left click on the Motion Study Properties dialog box, and we can change this to 30 in an effort to try and smooth out some of the animation. We'll do a recalculate, and you'll see that it runs a little bit smoother now. And then we can left click on the animation wizard. We'll just take the defaults, left click on next, left click on next, left click on finish, and then we'll left click on play, and SolidWorks will rotate this around as it animates it. Kind of exciting. Now if we want it to keep playing, we can left click on the playback normal. Playback mode is loop, and we can left click on play, and so first it'll play without any kind of rotation, and then once it hits the rotation wizard it will spin it around on the y-axis, and then we'll left click on stop. Then I'm going to left click on that line and drag it back to 0 because we're now going to record this. And this here, save animation as an AVI file. We can do this so somebody who doesn't have SolidWorks can actually watch this animation. So I'm going to collapse the motion manager. We still have access to all the tools. The only thing that's going to disappear is the little graph portion. Move our cursor down here to the save animation, left click, and I'm going to left click on, we'll enter 30 for our frames per second. Left click on save, and we'll enter 30 here. We'll left click on OK. Cursor is known to be corrupt. Great. Alright, we'll try it again. Okay, so it should be recording right now, and we'll let the thing run, and then we'll go see if it actually created a AVI file. It will take a while for it to record and store all this information. And so once it's completely turned around, we'll turn off the motion study, and then we'll go look for an AVI file that should be stored in the same folder that the assembly parts are all contained in. It looks like it's about done. Okay, so we'll left click on Start, Computer, go to Scott, CAD Web Videos, and it should be one of these, and there it is. It's even been labeled. Now you notice it's actually playing in real time. It didn't look like it was going to when it was recording, but it's in real time. It's pretty smooth. We have 30 frames per second, and the resolution is actually pretty good. And it even labeled it. So now somebody who doesn't have SolidWorks can see this. You can mail this to them, email it to them, and they can see this run without having to have the SolidWorks software. And that concludes this module on editing parts while in an assembly.